Hello, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share today some tips related to working from home or being at home and trying to work during a pandemic, however, you're framing that for yourself, or studying from home. So, if you're currently a student and you're having a hard time with overwhelm, I thought maybe some of the tips that I've been utilizing in my life would be helpful for you as well. So a couple of things that we've been doing in our house is I've set a schedule. It is a consistent schedule, but it's also a flexible schedule. And I think that that is an important distinction to make, that you want to have a framework for your day, particularly if you're having a hard time with motivation or staying on task or just even thinking about what you need to be doing. But I do think that there should be some gentle flexibility and compassionate flexibility incorporated into that, because these are strange times. And your mental health is the most important thing, and the mental health of your loved ones. So we've been using a structured schedule, but there is a lot of balance and flexibility worked into that. One of the house rules that I've been trying to implement is no pajamas after 9 o'clock, although comfy clothes are allowed. So when I say that, the kids and I are getting dressed, it's not necessarily like I haven't had jeans on in over a month. So it's comfy clothes, but it is sort of that process of getting up, getting dressed, brushing your teeth, eating some breakfast, and letting that set the tone for starting the day. And it seems like a very simple thing, but I think it helps us all get our brains into, like, this isn't a Saturday, this isn't vacation. We're not just going to lay around on the couch all day long because the kids have school and I have to work. So that's been sort of a good way to just establish a framework for the day. We've been doing school. I have the kids doing school pretty much for about 3 hours in the morning. We've been doing school from 9 until lunchtime. And that has worked for us. That might not be what works for you, and it might not be what works for your kid, and that's okay. Like, you can play with this a little bit and figure out what works best for your child. My kid's school is just really getting into new content this week, and so we might find that changes, because there may be synchronous class sessions that they need to go to that we need to work things around, or we might just find that doing review work for 3 hours straight was okay for them, but that if it's new material, they might need some blocks of time where there's work and then some decompression and then work and then decompression. And so we'll play with this. If we have to maneuver it, we will. But for right now, we've been doing classwork from like 9 to noon for 3 hours. Then we have lunch, and then they have the afternoon to themselves for the most part. So my kids are preteens, so they can get in on their electronics, they can watch TV, they can play video games. We do play some board games, and we do try to make a point to get outside when the weather's good. We have a rail trail right by our house, so we've been doing lots of outdoor excursions when the weather permits, and they have been religiously watching Cincinnati Zoo on Facebook Live every day at 3 o'clock. It's like the highlight of their day. For myself, I'm finding that block scheduling has been really, really beneficial. If you want some pointers on how to establish a block schedule, reach out and I'd be happy to teach you how to do that. But it really is just organizing particular tasks by setting hour or 2 hour blocks, and then plugging things in based on due dates and priorities. So one of the first things that you could do for yourself that's probably going to help with that is to make a list of everything that's due, everything that you have upcoming, or the various tasks that are associated with the work that you're doing right now, and set deadlines if there are deadlines, so that you can prioritize what needs to be done more urgently and what can wait, and then plug those into those schedules. And so I've been working on usually 1 to 2 hour blocks. And so I might have an hour of doing class prep for one course, and then I might spend 2 hours grading for another class. But I find that keeps me mentally from getting super drained, because I'm not just sitting with one task for an entire day and then feeling really deflated or defeated when it's over. It allows me to kind of move throughout, and I find that kind of mental shift is helpful for me. And again, you'll do what works for you. The other part of both writing things down and setting some kind of a block schedule for yourself is that you can then take bite-sized chunks. And this is also true for if you're working with kids who are doing homeschool or college students who are studying from home. Breaking things down into easy bite-sized tasks is sometimes a lot easier to wrap your brain around than feeling like, oh my God, I have so much to do. When you write it down and you start to look at, well, if I spend an hour doing this, I can check these things off my list, it suddenly starts to feel more manageable. And by working in 1 to 2 hour or half hour scheduling blocks like that, then you can also factor in breaks. You can have a scheduled outside break. You can have a lunch break, so to say, whatever is going to work best to re-energize and rejuvenate you. I find even just going out onto the porch to let the dogs out for a couple minutes, just that fresh air and the sunshine, even if it's for 5-10 minutes to let them run around the yard has been really beneficial to just kind of like wake things up a little bit, especially if you're stuck inside. So make a list, make a schedule, and break things down into smaller, more manageable tasks than feeling like you need to accomplish every single thing right now, because that's not going to work and you're going to feel completely overwhelmed and drained just thinking about it. So hopefully some of those strategies work for you. Put in physical activity when and where you can, even if it's just a walk, if you're able to get outside safely. I know that I have a lot of privilege in that I am on a kind of a country road where there are not sidewalks, there's not a lot of other people, so I can run on my road, and we have a fairly low traffic, although it has been a lot more traffic recently, but it's still considerably lower traffic rail trail compared to some of the other ones around here. And so I can run down there, and I can take the kids down there, and we can go for walks or bike rides or stuff like that. So whatever movement you can do, there are a ton of things available now online. All of the yoga studios that I have gone to in my area are doing some type of online practice. I know that some gyms are doing online practice. If you have a hard time finding something local to you and you're looking for some low cost or free options, would definitely recommend Fitness Blender, which is a YouTube channel, and Yoga with Adrienne, which is a YouTube channel. And those are both things that I've utilized even before the pandemic for home-based free fitness. So check those out. Meditation, of course, so you can use any of the videos that I've uploaded here. We also have group meditation Monday nights at 8 o'clock and Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Zoom. I can send the room information for the Zoom room for anybody that's interested, and currently I'm running those free on a donation basis if you feel so inclined, but really just felt better to be able to provide something that might help people who need it. So taking in some kind of mental breaks for yourself, physical breaks, getting some movement into your life, all of those things are going to really help support you during this time. And then finally, the last thing that I would share is a practice that I've been doing just on my personal Facebook, which is at the end of every day, right before bed, I try to identify 5 good things that happened during that day, or 5 things that I've realized I'm grateful for. And some of them are really small, and some of them are, bigger and more global. But I think that engaging in a purposeful and intentional gratitude practice right now is really going to be something that can sustain your mental health and can help clear out the negativity. And I actually think it's a better practice to engage in the harder that it is. So the days that I can sit right down and it's like bang, 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 5 things, and I'm like, okay, great. The days that I have to sit and think and really ponder my day, that's when I know that it's working, because it's taking what maybe felt like a very bad day and I'm still able to pull a handful of things that were positive or that I'm grateful for, or just, something to keep my head above water. And so I know that throwing gratitude around as a practice has become kind of very chic right now, but for me, this is something that's been a part of my life for years, and I think it is one of the most critical components of my own mental health and my sustained well-being. So maybe something along those lines would work for you too. And it doesn't have to be public. I'm doing mine on Facebook because people are jumping in and also sharing their 5 things, and I like being able to connect with others. But if it's something that you want to do private for yourself, you can do it in a journal. You can do it in the notes section of your cell phone. But just, to take a moment to really contemplate where there is still positivity amongst all of this challenge and suffering and difficulty, and write them down, get them down, not just think about them, not just say, oh yeah, okay, I'm grateful for, but I think there's something cathartic even in putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, as the case may be, but really taking stock of those things. So I hope that this information is helpful. If you have questions, or if you feel like you would like a little one-on-one support, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would be happy to have a quick chat with you to see if there are things that we could help you strategize that would work for your life, because maybe these things are working for my life, but they don't quite fit into the shape of your life, and that's okay, but maybe we could work together to try to help you identify the things that will work for you. So yeah, I hope to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. And just remember that you're not alone in all of this, and whatever struggles you're facing are really valid and perfectly normal considering these circumstances, and reach out for help if and when you think you need it. All right. See you later.